and welcome back to my workshop journey. We're really cracking on now, and really with the project that I've got on, the sewing box that I'm making. I left last week with sorting out super glue for filling in some of the holes, and I was a little disappointed in that the demonstrations I'd seen on YouTube, they went very smoothly and the glue was much less viscous than the stuff that I was using. I didn't realise that they came in separate or different viscosities. So thanks for Tim to pointing that out to me, and it's something I'll look into in the future, but at the moment there's no more super gluing of sawdust into holes that I need to do. We were doing that by way of an experiment because here in the UK we are in the middle of a series of postal strikes, and so the hinges that I had on order hadn't arrived then. They've arrived now, and I was intending to get them from Ironmongery direct. Unfortunately, they didn't have the ones I wanted in. I want solid brass hinges for this project. I don't want brassed, I want solid brass hinges. And because of the thickness of the rails, only 25mm, that limits the size of the hinge that I can have. So I've gone for DIYdirect.com, another UK based firm, and so I've got some 38mm solid brass hinges, and come with their own screws of course, but I know from experience that I need to be very careful about putting these screws into wood, because it's very easy with them being solid brass to shear them off, and then I'm in trouble. So we'll come to that in a little while. Something else that I have on order is a lid stay. So this is going to be a self-closing stay for the lid, so it doesn't crash down and trap anybody's fingers. That also is stuck somewhere in the postal system, and we'll come to that at a later date. But this afternoon it's going to be a case of fitting the hinges, making sure they are where I need them to be. But something else that I want to do as well, there is a slight rock on the whole carcass, so I've just checked the length of each diagonal, and there is a discrepancy. So first thing I'm going to be doing is just shortening the legs slightly, and that way the whole box will stay without a rock. That being said, let's crack on. Here's the carcass, and you see there is a very pronounced rock to the whole thing. Now then, if I just pop that on its side, grab the 1 metre rule, and measuring corner to corner across the diagonals, now this is 793, and that's 790. So this leg is 3mm shorter than that one on the diagonal. Now everything is square. The only thing I can put it down to are slight discrepancies where the rails went into the legs with the mortise and tenons. So 793, 790 on that diagonal, and if I turn it over, and repeat the exercise. 793 and 793. So 3 of 793, one is 790. The next question has to be how to correct the problem. My initial thought is just to take 3mm off the 3 longest. I don't know, to be honest, which is the best. Do I take the 3mm off the 3 legs, or do I just do it on one? Well, I've got to make a decision now, so what I'm going to do is, those two are 793, so I will take 3mm off these two, turn it over, take 3mm off one of them. So 3mm is there. Oops. Three and three. There we go. Grab a little bit of glass paper. Just to take that slight edge down. On them all. There we go. And hopefully, now, so what am I doing wrong? That has just made the tilt worse. That is 790. That is 790. That is 790. That is 790. Corner to corner, all 4 of them are the same. So why has that got a worse wobble? I don't know. I'll have to leave that, and I would welcome your comments after you've had a chance to look at this and just explain to me, what am I doing wrong? How do I correct this without losing all of the legs? But anyway, that's for a future episode. Next thing, I will mark out the hinges and get those cut. So this is the way that I want the lid to be on. I'm going to have the hinges on this back edge, And so I've aligned the lid with the back of the carcass like that. So 2 hinges, so I just want to make sure I'm going to get it on the right section, so I'll just mark that with a B. I know then which way things are going to go, and it's going to lift like that. Okay, so the next thing is positioning. And where's the second? There we go. Now, do I have 2 hinges or do I have 3? So let me give 2 would be adequate. Do I put a 3rd hinge in? Something like that. Oh, and this rock definitely got worse. I'll cut the 2 to start with, and then we can decide at a later date. Now then, get the rule and work out spacings. 70mm from the edge looks alright. So 70mm from the edge. That's not bad at all. Okay, so if I make sure that that is 70, and like that, and make sure that is 70. Like that. Get the square. And just take that all the way across. There we go. Now, hinge. What I want is for halfway across there. That's oops, where it needs to be, so that needs to be there, and same with this one, halfway through the actual hinge. There. Okay, so what I now want is that is 11, I want the 10.5. So there's the 10, quarter, there's the half. And this one. Half is there. There we go. Next thing, chisel. And I'm very grateful that Tim was kind enough to sharpen all of my chisels. So that's the one I want for that one. Yep. Mallets. Right, so those are the two cuts into the carcass. Now I'm just going to make sure I know where the cuts into the top are going. And the second one. Yep, that's that. Transfer those to here. Here. And it's 10.5 millimeters. quarter, 10.5. And here. There we go. Now, just cut those recesses. Now for the pilot holes, I'm using my small Bosch drill, and I've got some tiny drills here. So that's 2mm and 1mm drill. So let's try this one first. Lock the spindle. There we go. So and this is the problem with this. You noticed I've got to have the tape around the drill bit, because otherwise it won't hold in the collet. But even that hasn't worked, so let me try and get the collet out. and then get the tape out. There we go. Coll it back. But that's the 4 holes on there drilled. These are the screws with a tiny Posi-Drive 1 head. So easiest thing I've found is to do this with the manual screwdriver rather than try and use a powered screwdriver to do that. So the head fits nicely. And that closes nicely. Good. But with it being brass, they are a little stiff to start with. But that's that one. There we are. That's that one. Now I was afraid of that. The screw heads have come through, so I'm going to have to be careful of that and just get those to file down with the sander. So at least I've spotted it. Right. Now what I've done is put a bit more tape on the drill so that it holds into place, and now it's just a case of drilling the pilot holes into the rails. So just screw those into place. Now I've propped the lid, just resting that against the edge of the workbench so that I can just get these screws in. This is where you actually need 2 pairs of hands. If I can get just one screw in on both sides, it won't then fall off. And fortunately, these screws have decent heads. Sometimes with the cheaper hinges and screws, the screw heads have difficulty holding the screwdriver, which then makes, of course, driving them much more difficult. There we go. So that comes down nicely. Oh, what a lovely, lovely fit that is. I know the lid is now off square. It's nice. I wanted it nice and flat at the back. This is where I have miscut things. Obviously the carcass is not quite square, but I'm pleased with the way things have gone. Now I mustn't forget to just sand these screw heads down so that at least that will be safe. But if I turn it round, those have cut very nicely and that lifts very nicely as well. I'm pleased with that. Let me just get something to take these screw heads down. So using my Bosch again, what I've got is one of the grinding pieces, and I'm just going to take this down. So that's now no longer a danger to health and life, and the little bit of brass that has now come onto the wood will come out with sanding. Good. So just trying to think next process. I know I said I've got a lid stay to go on there. That's going to go on the inside of this rail and connect to the top here. That is coming, and when it'll turn up is anybody's guess at the moment. So I think the next step for me, rather than hold the whole project up, is just to start overall giving it a little sand so that I can prepare for the finish. What is there to do? Apart from sanding, it's just sort out the wobble, put the stay on, and then put the finish on. That, I stand to be corrected, but as far as I'm aware, that is all I need to do. This is looking good. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey, and I've certainly learned a lot from this project. It's the most ambitious thing that I've ever made, and what I'll do is also start giving some thought to summing up what have I actually learned from this journey. I'm very grateful for everything that people have said about this journey that I'm going through. Once we've got this project done, of course, what have I got to do? I really need to sort the shed out as part of my journey. One of the problems that I've got, I've had ideas about where to put things, and by and large that hasn't worked, because you'll have seen from the workbench it's in a real mess, so things just need to be put away much better. And I know my wife has this same difficulty in the kitchen. It's sort things out, but if things get into a mess very quickly, then things weren't in the best place, and that's what I'm finding here in the shed. So I'm going to have to give a lot of thought to where I put things. For example, I've got these clamps. Where do I keep these without bashing my head on them, and so that they are easily accessible? And that applies to all of the clamps that I've got. It's all right having them over in that corner of the shed, but at the moment they are very difficult to access. So I'm going to have to give a lot of thought to all of this, and of course what's on the bench at the moment, little bits and bobs of wood. Now Peter Parfit from New Brick Workshop had an idea for a little trolley of storage for these little bits and bobs of offcuts. Now that's something I can do, and I have some room down in this corner that I can use. So these are all things that I am thinking about, knowing that this project is coming to an end. But that's as far as I'm going for today. The rain is now coming down quite steadily, and I want to pack up for this afternoon. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.